Welcome to Built Local, the podcast spotlighting local businesses, community leaders, and the people building our community one story at a time. My name is James. I'm your host with my co-host, Mr. Murray Day. And today we have a special guest, Doug from Tier 1 Automotive. Doug, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is one of the guests we really look forward to, as Mr. Murray is the car aficionado of the group here. Doug, tell us what inspired you to start Tier 1 Automotive.
What inspired me? To be honest with you, it was more I was pushed into it. I'd worked at a lot of race shops in the past, and I was kind of known to be the good idea fairy at a lot of them. And I think finally one day someone was like, well, why don't you go try this for yourself?
Sure.
And I had a good friend of mine that had the same belief, and he invested in me, and that was 3 years ago.
Wow.
So
Fantastic.
And you're busy and
slammed. Yeah.
that's good.
You mentioned pre-production. You had quite a few cars already sitting over there.
Yeah, we're booked out about 2 weeks right now between the few techs that we have. We just hired a service writer a few weeks ago to kind of take some of that workload off me. I was trying to do both, and I'm far better with wrenches than with words. So we let somebody else deal with the customers and their writing, and I just turn wrenches and get better at that.
Makes sense.
So
So do you have a specialty? I'm thinking you do general repairs to pay the bills, and then fun stuff is the high performance modification.
Yeah, we do a lot of general repair, mom and pop daily drivers. We have a contract with the post office. We do a lot of service for them, for the local VMF. So that stuff pays the bills as well. But the cool stuff, yeah, that's kind of our bread and butter. Probably our specialty, I would say, unfortunately, is figuring out the stuff that other people can't. So we do a lot of diagnostics and a lot of rare cars, a lot of imports and stuff like that. So
That's great.
Right.
So give me an idea, Doug. What's been the most challenging repair or custom project you've worked on? I know you touched on a little bit pre-production here, but I know from just looking at your website, the cars you're working on, especially on the higher end, it's very impressive stuff, like anything from Porsches to, it's not just your mom and pop shop by any stretch. Tell us a little bit about that story, about the M1 and all that stuff. That's really good.
So we have had a multitude of challenging cars that we've had to take on. We've done a 74 Lancia Fulvia, and I had to learn a little bit of Italian to interpret the wiring diagrams for that one. Wow. And it was all like some old copied out of an old Xerox machine. We did a little restoration on that one. We do a lot of early 90s Japanese imports like the Nissan Skylines. So a lot of those require a ton of work and a ton of money, and they are very difficult to work on because they were packed with the pinnacle of 90s technology, and it's so far outdated now, you know what I mean? So you're just working on all this 30-year-old Japanese stuff, So, challenging is really kind of the name of the game on what we do, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, that's
we work on everything that people don't want to. We kind of take our time with it, do the best that we can. And
you did some cool projects, right, with the M1, and you said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we were speaking, pre-production, but you did something with some cars with M1. You got on Grand Theft Auto.
Before I opened up Tier 1 Automotive, I used to work for a company called Mil-Spec Automotive, and they're no longer around, but we used to do Resto Mod H1 Hummers. They had a Duramax engine and an Allison trans, and I would do all the electrical for them here. It was in Auburn Hills.
Wow.
They went out a few years ago, and then worked at another race shop in Livonia, had a great experience there. And that was the last venture before I opened up Tier 1.
That's great. That's great.
That wouldn't be Building 21 on Middle Belt, Roush, would it?
No, the shop that I used to work at in Livonia is called Boost Controlled Performance.
Okay.
They build a lot of really big, high horsepower cars, got some great people there. Alex, the tuner there, is excellent. They got a dyno there, but just a little far from home and wasn't a good fit for me, so.
Right. What do you think would be one of the misconceptions that are out there about auto repair?
That every mechanic is a scam artist.
Right.
And I think that perception comes from, I don't want to pinpoint dealerships, but most of the mechanics are paid on a flat rate scale, right? So they're paid to sell, they're paid by the hour, how many book hours they sell. So I went at this a little differently from all of my experiences, and I just don't pay my guys a high commission. I don't. You get paid a really good wage, do the best you can, no matter what it is, you know, and that's how we do it, so.
And when the dealer doesn't fix it, then they come to you.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do actually get some dealers that send some work to us, but it'll be something that they just have no idea, you know.
Yeah.
If an Aston Martin dealer takes in a H1 Hummer and they go, well, our guys aren't working on that, they send it to us.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so.
Makes sense.
And how do you keep up when, especially the Lancias and Aston Martins? I was at a shop years ago and there was an Aston Martin Lagonda, you know, that real angular one with the digital dash from like 1979. How do you even
The
start on something
technology
like that?
keep up is tough.
Yeah.
It's a huge investment to stay with the proper tooling. Most of those supercars and most of the German cars, you don't get a lot of information that's released for the first 5 or 6 years. They're pretty
Right.
touchy about it. So unfortunately, those cars kind of have to go to the dealership for those repairs. But for the most part, it's paying for the software, paying for the hardware, staying up on the training, and just staying in the trenches, turning the wrenches so
Yeah.
you can continue to learn.
My son worked at Ken Bus Hack, where they would reverse engineer, and it's just, it's unbelievable, the technology, and it's all different.
Yeah.
Ford does it different than Porsche, and they do it different
Yep.
than Volkswagen, and it's, I just wonder how in the heck you can kind of keep it all under.
Yeah, they share a lot of parts, but they do it all different. It's
Yes,
very strange.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, even on the 10-speed, GM makes one and Ford makes one. And
So in a lot of what we do, you know, there's not a lot of how-to manuals or anything that they say is plug and play or bolt on and go. It never works that way.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're constantly modifying and fabricating whatever it is that you're working on. So it's learn as you go, trial by fire.
Yeah, yeah,
So for your layman, you guys can talk shop all day.
Right, right.
I'm not the car aficionado, but everything you do is clearly very impressive to me. You know, if there was one maintenance thing that you could tell everyone that, you know, guys, you can't, you got to really do this part. what would that be? I'm going to guess it's oil, but okay.
Yeah, oil, and my wife's gonna give me hell for this because I let her car go way over on oil changes because everyone knows don't buy a car from a mechanic. So sorry,
right,
honey.
right.
But yeah, oil, air filters, and brakes. And tire rotations, actually. We do a lot of alignments at the shop, and tire rotations are one of the most overlooked things, if you can rotate your tires.
Yeah.
Because some cars have staggered sizes, and,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, what have you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Everyone thinks you can go about 7,500 miles now in an oil change. Do not do it.
No.
If your car has the temperature, the gauge, let it follow it. If not, go 3,000.
Yeah, well, that came from Europe, because Europe mandated, because, you know, they have 300 million people in a place smaller than Texas. They have no place to put used oil.
Exactly.
So they challenged the manufacturers, and that's where that number came from. And
In the modern engines now, the tolerances inside of them are
They're
so tight, so
they're
the
so
oil
small,
is like water. You know, they're
Yeah.
down to like a 0W16 or something
Yeah.
like that now,
Yeah.
0W12, something wild. So, so with the oil passages so small in the vehicle, if you don't maintain that in a
Yeah.
proper interval, well, a lot of stuff in that engine is controlled by oil. So
Right,
what's going to
all
happen?
your cam timing and your cylinder deactivation and
Did them today.
phasers and,
We're
yeah,
doing a 3.6 Pentastar Jeep today, wiping cams, rockers, all same thing. you
Yeah,
know, Very
yeah.
common.
Okay, well, we're gonna take a quick little break and check out the offerings, and we'll catch you on the backside. Okay, great, welcome back. That was some cool stuff there, I liked it.
Thanks.
Unreal. I'd love to see some of those cars one of these days. Maybe me and Murray will pop in and bug you.
Doors are open on the hot days.
Definitely, definitely.
Great.
So how do you keep up with the constant changing technology? I mean, it's everybody's leapfrogging each other. But I guess you're not doing super new stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, we do absolutely, you know, this year's stuff as well. You know, with tuning and stuff like that, we have to stay up to date on all the modern technologies.
Sure.
And it's really just being there, doing the work, and having the passion for it, so you're doing it when you're not at work. You're studying, you're reading the articles, and staying up to date really just means spending money, unfortunately, and taking time to learn the stuff. Modern cars are pretty complicated. They've got radar, LiDAR, lasers, cameras, you know, you name it. So it's a challenge.
Do you ever work on a carburetor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple carbureted cars at the shop right now. We just converted a 57 210 wagon over to EFI,
The
but
Harley
we've got a
Sniper.
62 Impala at the shop that's carbureted and a 66 Shelby Cobra kit car at the shop that's carbureted and a 64 Daytona Coupe at the shop that's carbureted.
Nice, so that's the fastback, right?
Yep,
Yeah, wow.
yep.
Well, clearly, Doug, you've built a strong brand here in Waterford. You know, how important, and I think you've touched on it a little bit, obviously being successful, being open for 3 years, working with dealerships, you know, them referring you business. But, you know, how important is it for you, for customers to trust you in the industry you're in?
You know, it's probably the most important aspect of business. You know, being a mechanic shop, when you find a mechanic, you stay with that person for a long time, and usually your family does as well. You know, you get referrals from brothers, sisters, mothers, cousins. So establishing that is really important to me. The big difference between my place and other places is the communication. I like to think I'd much rather show someone that they have a bad ball joint than to say, hey, Sally, your ball joint's bad,
Sure.
trust me. I'd
Makes
much
sense.
rather show you, you know, what's going on and prove it to you.
So if you could coach Joe consumer, what should they look at in a shop? Because it takes a lot to build up the trust, like you were just saying.
Yeah, and I would say I'm obviously not the only good shop in town. There's so much work out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great shops in town. Check the reviews, ask your friends, you know, they've had good experiences. You know, my mom told me that if you have a good experience, you might tell 1 person out of 10. If you have a bad, you're gonna tell 9 out of 10 people.
Right.
So
True.
it's very important to maintain that. So checking reviews like you would do if you're gonna go out to a restaurant and take your wife to eat at, you know,
Yeah.
hear what other
Makes
people
sense.
have to say.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, you know, it's nothing better than doing it on your own. You know, years ago when I started my own business, I thought the same way. I was like, you know, I guess I'm getting pretty good at this. Why am I not doing this for myself, right? And to me, and it sounds like we share the same liking, it's about the journey, right? And it's about from, you know, the small beginnings until, you know, watching you scale and
Oh,
grow.
yeah.
So with that said, what's next for Tier 1 Automotive? Where do you see yourself in, you know, 2 to 5 years?
I don't want to spill too much tea, but I have a couple sister companies because I'm a 50% partner in Tier 1. Like I said in the beginning, a friend of mine invested in me, and he's got a couple companies under his belt. So in the near future, I'll be probably right next door to the M1 concourse. We've got a sister company there now, and they're looking to expand. So once they're up and out of that building, Tier 1 will have its own facility right next door to
Do you think
M1.
us
So.
little lonely car guys might be able to come see you?
Yeah, and I guess the view from the roof is spectacular for the racetrack too. So I'll be probably
Cool.
staying the night there on
That's
the weekends.
fantastic.
Fantastic. Well, how do people find you? On social media? Contact
Yeah,
information?
we've got a ton of social media. Tier1automotive.com, the number one. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Call us, 877-718-4371. I even put Tier 1 on the phone number because I'm old like that, you know, 877-71
Right.
Tier 1.
People.
And did you say the website?
Yeah, it's tier1automotive.com, yep.
Perfect.
Yep, that's the easiest way to get in touch with us as well. Fill out a work request form. You can even book your own appointment on there. Super easy.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, we'll be coming by and checking out the shop.
Yeah,
Really
feel
appreciate
free,
it.
stop by.
Swing by the car show July 25th. We'd love to see you. I'll send you an email, some of the details.
Yeah.
Doug, we really appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks for
really
having me, guys.
impressive stuff you do. I'm totally blown away, and I know Murray was
Yeah.
so excited
Yeah,
to
we're
meet you.
gonna talk.
So thanks for joining the
Thanks,
show.
Murray.
We'll see you again
Appreciate
on
it.
Built Local. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
guys.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, that's such cool stuff. Like I said, I'm not the car guy like he is, but